Sorry, guys. Let me restart here. So a very warm welcome to you, ladies and gents, and welcome to the Q8 Pilot channel. It looks like I have forgotten to enable the mic. So we're going to go here from the beginning. And, okay, so let me backtrack a little bit. I was I wasn't looking at chat. Sorry about that. Yeah, all good now. Okay, perfect. Okay, so before we begin, I just want to say a few things. First of all, that I have been using X camera for the longest time, ever since I started using X-Plane. And many camera systems came after that trying to solve the issues that we have with the with the shortage of features in the inherent camera system in X-Plane. I have to say that the camera system in X-Plane by default is a very good system, but it is not intuitive. It's very difficult to use, and sometimes it's complex to set up. Very the flybys and things like that. So they can be difficult to set up. Without really having a system. In fact, you cannot really change whatever is there by default unless you go to the data refs, and it's a very cumbersome, very long process. So Aerosoft actually was a company that tried to build a camera system for X-Plane. That project did not really work very well. They created something very complex, and it didn't really work. Their philosophy was to build a camera that actually sits on a surface, so you can actually place the camera on a dash or place it on the wing, and then you can manipulate the camera views accordingly. There is also a better camera. A better camera is also an enhancement to the existing camera system in X-Plane. Now, we are going to be reviewing this on its own merit. I will be as objective as possible in reviewing this product. But first, I want to show you all the different features. So we're going to go through all the all the features that are there. The first thing you'll notice in Aura X is that the interface is a modern interface. It is very easy to understand. It is very well designed. You can tell that the developer has taken his time to design this with the user in mind. So the first thing you'll get when you install Aura X is you're going to get something like this, and it's going to ask you to start configuring your views using your keyboard. So this is the movement of your camera. So forward, backward, left and right, climb and descend. So the only thing you need to do is really click on your keyboard. There we go, and that is it. That is set up. One issue I've had is that it did not recognize my Moza flight yoke for some reason, but that's okay. So that's how you set up your views. So the same thing for climb and descend. You just use whatever keyboard. Very, very easy to use. Now, one nice thing is you can set up also the speed of the camera. So you can click here. You can move the sliders so that the movement inside the cockpit, as you can see here, you can make it faster or slower. Here, let me show you this here. So I am moving left and right, and it highlights the exact movement here as I move left and right, or I can move forward and backward. So you can do all your views. You just need to set up. We can go upward, and then we can also tilt the view and look to the left and to the right as well. So I've used my numpads to assign these controls so that, I can move everything with my numpad and with my mouse. Another thing you'll find is the shortcut menu. Now, in the shortcut, this is where I felt that this section probably needs a little bit more work, in my opinion. The reason I say this is because there's no way to assign a shortcut to the next camera or the next category. There is, however, a shortcut that enables you to switch between external and internal mode, but there is no way for you to program the flybys, for example. But those are available down here. As you can see here, those are the views. This is really, really nice. I really like this. But we'll talk about practicality in a little bit. So this is where you go to assign, your shortcuts and also to configure the overlays. So if I remove this here, you'll see that there are some overlays here for the view and then for the menu, which you can access here. And also you can record. This is a nice feature. We'll talk about this a little later. So let me bring this back here. And so you can also set up some views for your transitions, cinematic transitions, for example. You can toggle the internal, external, quick head turn right, quick turn left, and you'll be very pleased to know that it fully supports the Tobii eye tracker. You can also edit a view and start a new view here. You can adjust the movement, the speed, so you can assign a shortcut to increase or decrease the speed of the camera, which is very cool. This is the recording. You can start the recording, can set up, again, a shortcut to start and stop the recording or take a screenshot. Speaking of screenshots, we'll take a look at that in just a second here. So landing, again, there is a show high landing score. So you will get a nice landing score here. We'll take a look at that in a minute as well while we do the flight. You can also set presets, so you can go ultra fast, slow, and what have you. So how do you actually, oh, by the way, there is also the dynamic effects. So the engine vibration, impact on the gear and nose wheel, head movement for braking, lateral inertia and turbulence. You can set these and to your liking, and you can turn them on and off, which is pretty cool. I thought that this was a really nice feature to have. We have the developer here with us on this live stream. Welcome aboard. Glad to have you with us this evening. When changing camera views, does it animate there, or does it just straight to... it does animate. We'll take a look at that in just a second. So let me go here to the active view, and you can see that there's, by default, you'll get the pilot view. Now, if you want to edit a view, you can simply click here and you can change it. You can just move like so, and you can just say update and it will update it for you. Let me say cancel here. Now, let's say that I want to create a new view. So here's what to do. You can just move the way you normally move in the sim. So let me come over here. I'm going to move down a little bit. Let's see here. No, let me go up. Let me step back a little bit. There we go. I think that's a nice view right there. So let's say that I want to create this view. So I'm just going to click here, and I'm going to call this window. Okay, and I'm going to say create, and voila. Now you have a window here, and if you click on the first officer, pilot, you see very nice animation. You can set this as your favorite if you want. And then now this is the new view that we just created. So very easy to create views. You can, by the way, in the same manner, you can create, let's say we want to do an external camera. So I'm going to switch to the external camera here. And in external mode, you can have, this is the orbit. So this is the orbit section here. If I come here, this is this one. But I want to go to the drone mode. In drone mode, we can move freely. This is a little bit fast, so I'm going to change the external to about 25% here. And yeah, that's much better. And then we're going to come, for example, here. And let me move down. That's a bit too much. There we go. And let's say that we want to create this external view. So I'm going to click here, and I'm going to call this side view. Side view. There we go. And then we're going to say create. And now we have the side view. So if I... for some reason, it did not... Why did it didn't do that? Okay, let me update that. All right, there we go. Huh. Well, I think I need to be in external mode. No, that didn't work for some reason. All right, let me go to external. Ah, all right. So I need to be in external mode in order to set up an external camera. That's okay. All right, so my bad. Let me do that. Let me go actually to drone mode, and we're going to do that again. Let me do that. Okay, and then we're going to come here, and we're going to select, let's see. All right, I think that's nice. There we go. And then we're going to say create a view, and we're going to call this a side view. Side. Okay. Now this should work. Okay, now we have the external view. We have the drone mode. And if I click here on the side view, then it takes me to the side view that we just created. Pretty cool, huh? Yeah, I figured that. Okay, does it support track IR? No track IR. Toby only for now. Okay, so this is, you can see that creating the views is quite intuitive, very, very easy to set up. And, you know, you can just switch between your internal and external camera very easily from within the interface or by assigning the shortcut. So what other features are there? One of the nice things in Aura X is the orbit drone, which we've seen, but there's also a flyby, a control panel view, a control view, control tower view, as you can see here. And if you go, let me just exit here. Now you can see here that there is something called auto zoom. If you untick that, then when you switch to the control view, it will capture the aircraft at its exact position. It will not zoom on the aircraft. If you have it turned on, it will always zoom onto the aircraft. There is also a really nice feature, which is the handheld camera. If you add this, you'll notice that the view starts to move as if someone is actually videoing the aircraft from the control tower. So it gives you the effect of a handheld camera, which is pretty cool. I thought that this was really very well thought of feature for the cinematics. Another thing is also spotting. So if you go to the spotting, again, the same thing here. We can turn this on and off, and you have the handheld camera, but there's something really, really cool, which is place the camera. So I can click here, and I can select anywhere to position this camera for spotting. So for example, let me place the camera over here, and now you'll see that it completely changes how this looks. So it's going to spot the camera here. Now, in order for us to really see the features and see how the spot and the flyby camera work, I think it's best that we start this aircraft, fly, take off, and then we're going to do a replay. And then I can show you all the different, the flyby, spotting, and all that good stuff. So let's go ahead and hop into the internal cockpit. And we are going to start this aircraft. Again, don't mind my start procedure here. We're just really wanting to... All right, so we have a good start. By the way, I really like this this Cessna 152 by Just Fly. Really good aircraft. All right, so strobes and landing lights are on. We can bring back the yoke there. Make sure everything's good here. Okay, and let me reset my view. Again, I would love to also have a shortcut to reset the view. That would be really, really cool to have. So what we're going to do now is let me actually switch to spot view, spotting. Okay. And I'm going to turn off the auto zoom. I'm going to go to place the camera, and I'm going to place it right there. And now we can see the aircraft. I'm just going to release the brake here and watch what happens as we fly away. It's pretty cool, isn't it? All right. Let me hop back into the cockpit here. Let's give it full power. All right, I think I have the... All right, go 60. All right, we're airborne. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go to spotting, and now you can see if I turn this off, and let me do it again. Yeah. All right, we'll do it. Let me just do a flyby here real quick. Flyby, and we're going to turn that off. And let me do it again. Flyby. There we go. It would be nice if, you know, we were able to actually move the camera while we are in the, in the flyby mode. But let's do the following, folks. Let me bring this back and to where we took off. All right, there we go. And now I think we can play a little bit more with the different views. So we're just gonna, let's see here. All right, so it's gonna start now. All right, so there we go. So this is now a replay. Okay, this is the stuff I was talking here, and we started drifting a little bit. All right, let's take a look here at the spotting. Look at that, ladies and gents. Now that is pretty cool. Yeah. That is very, very cool. And now we can go to flyby and take a look at that. Very, very nice indeed. All right. Now here's one thing I want to show you guys. So I want to go to the cinematic mode. Go to cinema. There we go. Look at that. Very, very nice. For creating cinematics, this is like really, really good. All right. So let me go ahead and kill the replay mode. Okay. And we're going to go to orbit. All right. And now what I want to do is, looks like the strobe light. Sight. It's pretty cool, isn't it? That's the actual view that we created on the outside. So you can actually click it to go to it, which is pretty cool. Yeah. All right. So let's suppose that you want to take a screenshot. Just come here. Aha. And you hear that little flash there. And that's it. You've taken a screenshot. You can also record 4K recording. So now it actually started recording. No degradation in performance whatsoever. So the sim remains very smooth. Here, let's do a quick flyby. And now we are recording in 4K. Very, very cool. All right, we'll stop the recording. We'll take a look at those in a minute. All right, let me hop back into the cockpit here. Now, notice there we go. That's much better. Okay, notice that we have a vibration, and this vibration is coming from Aura X. Looks better than Chase Plane. Yeah, you can see that, by the way, with this Apple Maps map enhancement looks really nice. Look at that, guys. So it really, the vibration that you're seeing here is Aura X. So let me actually, if we go to XP Realistic, it's disabled, okay? So you can see this vibration here is coming from Aura X. It's not coming from anything else, which is, I think, is pretty cool. Again, I really like the movement of the mouse. It's very responsive. There is no latency. There's no lag. Works really, really well. And here, let's go to here, for example, control tower. This is the control tower view. And you can see the movement giving the feel of a a handheld camera, which is pretty cool. Can I use the keybinds here? No, you can't. Okay, so that's okay. So all right, let's take a look here where we are. We're getting, I think the San Luis Obispo airport is right there. So I think we can land there and take a look at the landing grate. Let me ease off on the power here. All right. One other thing that I really like about Aura X is the fact that you can change, you can modify the views on the fly, and you can create ones here while you're flying. So that is something I really appreciate, and it's a really cool feature. By the way, you can change where those are, so you can actually click here. This is a previous one here I can show you maybe. Dynamic effect, yeah, you can access all of those. What I wanted to show you something, I can't remember what I wanted to really show you. All right, let me just take a look here, see where we are. And I think the airport is right to our left. If we... All right, where's the airport? Man, look at map enhancement, guys. With the Apple Maps, I think it looks a lot better than the Google Maps, if you ask me. I know the airport is somewhere to our left. There we go. I can see the runway now. Perfect. Okay. So let's switch to the internal view. Again, I can safely report that Aura X does not have any impact on performance whatsoever. So it should work on your system without issues. I haven't really noticed any degradation in performance. As a matter of fact, we can look here at the frames. We are getting about 83 frames. And you get more if you're not using map enhancement. So map enhancement will bring the FPS down by maybe a couple of FPS or so. So in terms of performance, actually works pretty well. Let me change things here a little bit. There we go. How about this view here? Very nice. X-Plane is really looking very nice. I use Apple Map too. Yeah, it's really good. I'm sorry, guys, I'm not interacting with chat too much because I want to make sure that this is useful for a rerun as well when someone, plays back the stream. But I will answer any questions you have once we are through and after I give you my final comments. Right, here we go. Flaps. And now we get a chance to check out the... we'll see the vibration here as we come into land, or the effect, the landing effect. Oh, very nice. Not exaggerated at all. Very nice. It felt very nice to land it with the Aura X dynamic features. So it really worked very well. So what we can do now is, let's see. So we're accustomed to the views. Ah, look at that. Pretty cool. So now you have the FPM, -97, touchdown vertical speed. Your float was 7.5 seconds. Your load factor was 1.19 Gs, speed 56 knots. So it gives you the full information. And then you can click here and it gives you also the descent profile. tells you how well you've done, your touchdown. This is the threshold, distance used, touchdown, 455 from the threshold, distance used, maximum lateral deviation. Very, very cool. It really is very nice. By the way, I could do without this landing thing, but I think it's pretty cool. I think it's nice. It's nice to have. Not necessary for a camera system, but I think it's really nice to have. So let me do a replay now of of the landing, and then we're going to use the different views to take a look at the spotting and the flyby and see how they work when we are actually coming to land. That's probably the most important thing. I can hear the flaps there. All right, there we go. Okay, so here we go. Oh, there is a chopper there. Okay, so now we can come here. First, this is your drone, so you can move in whichever way you want, just like in chase camera. Okay, and then we can come here and go to flyby, and now we can see the flyby. There we go. We can change the camera there. There, very nice. Yeah, so you can use the binding keys to actually switch the view, which is pretty cool. Yeah, it does work. All right, that's the side view we created. And let's do the flyby again, and you can zoom in just like we do with X-Plane. And there we go. Wow, this is really, really cool. Wow, much better than the default flyby in X-Plane. That is very, very cool. Yeah, very nice. Very nice. Okay, let's bring this back here. All right, but this time we're going to go to the spotting, and let's make sure auto zoom was off. And now we have a spotting there, and you can do it in exactly the same way we do it with X-Plane. So if you use your mouse wheel, you can zoom in, and you can obviously change. Now, in this view, you can't change the angle of the camera. So let me see. Yeah, there you can't change it. You can do it with the flyby. You can do it with the spotting view. So, so it actually works really, really well. One thing I kind of miss in X camera, which is not available here, is in X camera, there is a feature to enable the cinematic mode while you're in the cockpit. So it's a button. And once you enable the cinematic mode, when you move your mouse in any direction, it starts making a cinematic movement of the camera and changing. We can mimic this here by doing the following. So let me first close this. If I go to the pilot view here, and then we go to the settings, controls. Actually, let me just go here. Yeah. So I can do the same by reducing the speed of the internal camera. So if I go make it slow, like 15, right? And then I move, you can see that this is now slower. So as I move the mouse, it actually gives you that cinematic feel. So it really does look very nice as you move around the cockpit here. If you're creating a cinematic, unfortunately, you'll see the mouse pointer. With X camera, that's something you can do, and without the window, very cool. So you get your presets there. In certain positions, you'll see them floating there. That's an option, by the way. You can turn those camera cues, you can turn them off if you want, if you don't want to use them. So it really does work very, very well. This is our side view that we've created. Actually, if we go to external here, we have this side view, and you can also refresh thumbnails, and it will create the thumbnails for all your, for all your views, which is pretty cool. So in the recordings, you can see now this is a recording that we created. So if I click on it, it will actually play the recording for you. So this is a video that has been saved, which is really, really cool. And the video is, by the way, very good quality. So let me just make this there. There we go. So that's the video that we've recorded earlier. And now The nice thing about this is now you can record your entire video or your entire flight, your favorite moments without really having to use any recording software, which is pretty cool. And the same thing, by the way, happens for the images. So if I click here, so you can see now that you have all the images that you've saved. This is the image that we've created. Of course, it uses the resolution of your monitor, which is in my case 2560 by 1440. And that really works very, very well. So now you have all your screenshots, all your videos organized, by using these tabs. So anything you record will always be there. You can, by the way, change where you want. So if you go video and sound, you can select here the resolution. So you want it 1080p, 2K, or 4K. You can also set the frame per second to 60, and you can choose the path of where you want your images and videos to go. Sounds also, you can set your sound here. You can test the volume, and I don't think you need a microphone, but it's there for you as well. One important thing is the language. So these are all the supported languages in Aura X. Now, a couple of things I would like to say. First of all, this is the very first iteration. So this is the first release of Aura X. And right off the bat, I will tell you guys that I highly recommend this plugin for X-Plane 12 for anybody starting with X-Plane. Setting up your views is a breeze. It takes a little bit of learning to set up the exact positions that you want. So the only thing that you need to really spend time with is really setting up your controls. So what moves left, what moves right, that sort of thing. And you want to go up and then tilts, and then we have looking left and right and moving up and down. All of these are essential for you to be able to move in the cockpit and also record and capture your views. So from that respect, I think that this is a beginner-friendly plugin. It really does work exactly as advertised. It is very modern. The interface looks very nice. And from this point forward, I hope that the developer would bring in even more features. My top ask would be shortcuts for category and camera positions. So I can, for example, use my hat switch to move from, all the cameras within the cockpit. So, for example, now what I need to do, let me just remove this. So if I want to cycle between the different views, I have to come down here and select them. So it would be really nice to have a shortcut that I can use with my hat switch or a keyboard shortcut to move from one camera view to the other, like that. So that would be really cool. And the other thing that I would really love to have is having something that I'm really used to it in X camera, which is the cinematic mode. So when you enable it, your movement becomes the actual cinema film. I don't know how to explain it. Maybe I can show it to you guys in a future video. So I really like what this does. Now, there are a ton of other features, by the way, that can really enhance this plugin. One of which is, and this is a feature, again, comes from X Camera. When you are at an airport, you can go and create all the different airport views of that specific airport. It will automatically create the positions at the runways. It will create all of the gates, all the major buildings, all the positions automatically. And that is a really, really nice feature. And again, creating shortcuts that allows you to move from one category to the next with shortcuts, just really assigning shortcuts. Now, I really don't mind this. I mean, this is really nice. It's really, really cool. Here, if we go on Auto Cinema here, it really is very cool. Let me just move from here. All right, let's Here we are in cinema mode. We'll just go and, park the aircraft anywhere. But yeah, I mean, this would be a feature that I would really like to have. Track IR support is definitely a must. I really like the dynamic effects, by the way, and I like the fact they're not exaggerated in Aura X. So I really like the fact that because this is very essential. Now, when I tested this with, when I tested the compatibility with XP Realistic, it does not seem to be fully compatible with XP Realistic. All right, so I thought something was just... I thought I've lost connectivity here, but are you guys okay? Are you able to hear me okay? Maybe it's just my iPad. Oh, okay. Still good. Okay, perfect. So, yeah, I mean, definitely having XP Realistic compatibility is very essential. If you have it. If you don't have XP Realistic, actually, this can actually make up for it. So the sounds are not there, obviously, but in terms of the dynamic effects, they are there. So definitely see if we just release the brakes here, again, you can see that little there, you can see the engine vibration, what have you, all these effects that we've had when we were taking off, and the braking here, you can see again, nice effects there. The dynamic effects are quite nice. And by the way, it works very well with something like an Airbus or a 737. So yeah, overall, I think this is a really, really good plugin. I really like the orbiting as well. I think it works really well. And you can use, by the way, your keyboard here. Just I'm using now the keyboard instead of the mouse. So you can zoom in, you can zoom out, you can do all sorts of things here. You can move up, you can move down. There we go. Yeah. So I really, really like what this plugin does. Now, one important thing to note is that the reason I said that this is the first iteration of the plugin is this the ultimate camera system for X-Plane? I think it's a good start. I think this plugin has great potential. And considering how long X camera has been in development, X camera is feature rich and it has a lot of granular control over your cinematics. For example, you can create different views and then you can connect those views into cinematic motion. So for example, you can go and create a full walk around cinematic using X camera. You can specify the type of transitions, like the linear transition, Bezier transition. You can do heading tracking as well when you are creating those cinematics, and that makes, I think, X camera up to this point the ultimate camera system for X-Plane. But that said, X camera is quite advanced and it's quite complex to set up. So it takes a huge learning curve to set up X camera. Now, the final verdict, if you are new to X-Plane, if you don't really want to worry yourself with setting up advanced camera, if you are not a content creator, then Aura X is definitely the camera system for you, and it is the ultimate camera system for non-content creators. If you are a content creator and you want more granular control over your views, your transitions, then, you know, while Aura X can satisfy a lot of your requirements, it cannot do what X camera does today. It's got far more features and far more granular control over the camera movements. So So time to leave X camera behind. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, if you are not a content creator, if you don't really want to fiddle around with, setting up views, definitely Aura X is the plugin for you. If you are, however, a content creator and you're really, very picky about, how you want to create those transitions, then maybe it's not for you. But having said this, the two can coexist without issues. So I do have X camera installed. I just actually disabled it. So where is I think I removed it from the plugin menu altogether. So for this flight, so here from the plugin menu, you can see that I've disabled the X camera completely. But they can coexist without any issues. The only thing that you'll notice is when you move down here, you'll get the X camera menu as well. The design is just amazing with Aura X. It's really, really, next gen, very modern, very user friendly, very intuitive. So, final verdict, guys. Yeah, this is a plugin that receives the Q8 Pilot highest commendation and recommendation. I recommend this plugin with confidence, and the price point of this plugin, I think, is very suitable for what it does. I don't think that it's overpriced. I think it's priced just right. And by the way, I don't think that it's underpriced. I think the developer was very fair in pricing this, considering the amount of effort, the work, and the value that it provides for anyone using X-Plane. So how can I start playing this? You mean X-Plane? So you need to download X-Plane from xplane.com. There is a demo there, and then you can definitely use it. Idea for the dev community, support per plane, downloadable cameras, etc. That would be really, really a cool feature. Thank you for making that. That is really an incredible recommendation there. And yes, I think the community would really love that. I'd like to also, by the way, see a little bit more with the dynamic effects. So maybe we can have a little bit more. But if this actually has sounds, I think it actually, for me, actually, if this had also the sounds that XP Realistic has, I think it replaces XP Realistic too. So definitely value for money, guys. And I highly, highly recommend Aura X for anyone using X-Plane today. Setting up views, you can really forget about, the complexity of setting up views. This is very intuitive, very easy. It's feature rich. I really like it a lot. And I think from this point forward, I think we will just have more and more updates. As a matter of fact, the developer informed me that there will be an update coming next week. So maybe I will do a giveaway for Aura X in future live streams. But this pretty much, ladies and gents, brings us to the conclusion of this live review. I hope that it was insightful and useful, and I want to thank the developer for being with us here this evening and answering all the questions here from the community. So thank you very much. Thank you for the support that you provided to me personally. I've had some issues initially setting things up, so thank you for that as well. And of course, a huge, huge heartfelt gratitude to all my friends and followers here at the Q8 Pilot channel. Thank you guys for making it real. Thank you for making it worthwhile. And until next time, please take care of yourselves and each other. And I will see you all very soon. Thanks for tuning in. And bye-bye for now.